In this problem, we need to calculate the sample size required to estimate a mean. And so we're going to use the formula. N is approximately equal to Z sub alpha over 2, that's going to come from our confidence level, times the value of sigma, which is our variation, divided by this margin of error, E. And we take all of that and we square it. Now in your textbook, they square each of those values individually. I don't know why they do that. It just makes for more typing. So I just group them all together and square the whole thing. So the first thing we need to do is calculate Z sub alpha over 2. This is really the big, difficult part of this problem. So since we want to be 90% confident, that's what it said in the problem, what I do, and honestly I just do this every single time, I draw the distribution. If we're going to be 90% confident, that means that there's 90% in the center, which means that there's 10% left over for the ends, and that's 5% on the right and 5% on the left. So what they're asking us in the formula for Z sub alpha over 2, that's actually Z sub 0.05 here on your distribution. So how do I calculate Z sub 0.05? That's our critical value, and we're going to do that by using the inverse norm function on the calculator. All right, this is having some difficulty here. Okay, there we go. So the inverse norm function on the calculator, and oops, I'm going to do 1 minus 0.05 because we want the 5% to be on the right-hand side. So we are going to do 1 minus 0.05 to get that right-hand value. And the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. And when I calculate that and round it to 2 decimal places, I get 1.64. If you ever feel like, or you find that you're not getting quite the right answer, according to my math lab, you can try rounding that to 3 decimal places. They don't specify in the problem, which is very frustrating, how many places to round that intermediate value to. So sometimes they use 2, sometimes they use 3. So we're going to go for 2 here. So this is going to get plugged in. We have 1.64 times, what was our sigma was 17.4 years. So we're going to do that. The margin of error is, we want to be within 1/2 year. So whenever it says the margin of error is this value, that's pretty obvious, but sometimes they say within this much. So in this case, it's within 1/2 of a year, so that's 0.5 years. And then we square that whole thing. And what I get on the calculator when I do that is 3,257.213184. But notice that you have to give this to the nearest, well, it says round up to the nearest whole number. What you really want to do is always round up to the next whole number. It's not the nearest. I don't care what's nearest. What I care about is what comes next. I want to go with 3258 because that way we have our minimum number of people. 3257 won't quite do it because we have a little left over, so we go up to 3258. And that is your final answer.